welcome to another episode of Drinking with Geeks. Today we're making Caesars.
For those of you who aren't from Canada, you may not really be familiar with the Caesar that much, or you may think of it as just like, it's like a Bloody Mary, but Canadian, right? And that is kind of true. But it is the classic Canadian cocktail, and Thursday, well, this year it's a Thursday. I should refrain from actually saying the day, but May 17th is National Caesar Day, as declared by somebody. I don't know who, but the internet likes these sorts of things, and I like these sorts of things. I'm assuming you like these sorts of things, or you wouldn't be here. So today we're making Caesars.
So what's the big difference between a Bloody Mary and a Caesar?
Clams. Yeah, you heard me. Clams. So, the story goes, in 1969, Walter Chell, the bartender at a restaurant at a hotel chain in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada, he was tasked with creating a new drink to celebrate the opening of an Italian restaurant. And he was thinking about Italian cuisine, and in particular was thinking about some of the pasta sauces they do with clams and tomatoes. And he was like,
Noodles.
How can we do that as a drink? So he spent a month working this out, because you didn't have ready-made Clamato juice at the time. That didn't come out until shortly after, which is when the Caesar took off really big in Canada. Once everyone could get this clam tomato juice easily. But he spent a month just mashing clams to get juice or something from them.
That's the worst job.
Sounds gross. I don't like seafood.
Maybe you like clams, though. If you like clams.
Maybe. I don't, but I like a Caesar. Which brings me to the point of a lot of people are intimidated by the Caesar, even in Canada, because they're like, clams sounds weird. I don't want clams in my drink. And in general, I would agree with you. But you can't actually taste the clams that much in a Caesar, because there's so much else going on, and clams actually blend really well into the tomato flavors and the Worcestershire and the Tabasco and just everything. It's quite complex, hearty drink. It's very refreshing in the summer. It's spicy, and it's red, so Canadians like it. I think that's really...
Let's find out what's in it.
Yeah, that's it. So with that...
Make some Caesars.
Let's make some Caesars. First thing we're going to do when making our Caesar is start with our actual Caesar mix. The most common mix you're probably going to find is Mott's Clamato, which is good in a pinch. I personally like to use Walter's. It's local to BC. It's a craft Caesar mix, so I get to feel all hoity-toity. But it tastes like real nice fresh tomato. The clam isn't super overpowering for those who are concerned about clam flavors. This one here is the mild one because I like to add all my own spice. But you can just get the spicy one, in a pinch and have, just a nice mix two ingredients, this and your vodka sort of cocktail. So we've got our cocktail, and we want to use about 6 ounces of it. I use a mixing glass here that shows that, which is just nice and convenient for me. Roughly 6 ounces. A dash or two of Tabasco sauce. A little bit of horseradish. This is really a to-taste thing. Drop it right in there. And then, of course, some Worcestershire sauce. And to this, we want to add a ½ ounce of fresh lemon juice. Toss my ice in now. And then finally, 1½ ounces of vodka. Again, I'm using a BC product. When I use all BC products in this, I like to call it the B-Caesar, because I'm a dork. Just want to say, again, we don't get any sponsorships. These are just products that I like or have around. So 1½ ounces of vodka. Put it all in our mixing glass, and I'm actually not going to shake this really heavily because I will be putting it over ice. So I'm actually just going to roll it around to incorporate everything. Want it well mixed we're not as concerned with cooling it because it's gonna go over ice in the glass, so we don't want it overcooled. So another important aspect of the Caesar is, of course, the glass is usually rimmed, similar to like a margarita or something. Often people use celery salt, but I'm a big fan. I came across this in a store once, some smoked sea salt. I like to grind a little black pepper into it as well, into my salt mix, so that when you're drinking it, you get a nice little hint of smoky salt and pepper with your tomato, and it just goes really nicely. When it comes to rimming glasses, what you might see a lot is these like dishes where you just like rub some lime on it and then stick the cup upside down in the dish and then it's all rimmed. And that works, except the drawback to that is that you get it over along the inside of the glass, which is not ideal because then it gets into the drink rather than just being something that kind of hits your lips as you sip. To get around this, what I like to do, I just run over the edge. Just a little bit of lemon or lime, depending on what you're using. Use a spoon and just kind of put it over the side. Makes a bit of a mess this way, but it is quite effective. Kind of tap the glass. And you can just wipe. You know, these are for myself, so I'm using my fingers. If you were serving for company, use a napkin. It's just nicer. We have a nice rimmed glass. Get some ice in that glass. And then to this, we just want to stick a nice little garnish. And the traditional garnish for a Caesar is celery. And I like to stick with just a celery stick. These days, it's become really fashionable for a Caesar to come with all sorts of crazy stuff in it. I've even seen like sliders on a stick stuck into it. More commonly, you'll see bacon or like a pepperoni stick or pickled vegetables. Pickled asparagus is really popular and really good. Personally, I like to just stick with the classic celery. You know, it's hard to find ones with celery with leaves on it these days, but when you can, it looks really lovely. And of course, when serving drinks on ice and with a big garnish like this, you should always include a straw. We're back. Our Caesars have been made, and we're ready to try them. So, Roz, you get the non-fancy garnish because, as I mentioned, it's difficult to find leafy celery these days, and we could only find a single stalk that still had good leaves on it. So,
I know, you
do what you can. This is probably why all the pickled stuff and everything became popular in it when people are making it at home. Roz is actually quite a fan of like pickled
asparagus, beans.
Yeah, string beans, things like that.
Pickles.
Yep.
But you know when sometimes you order one and it's almost too much bush and you're just like, why? Yeah. Why? I mean, even your own piece of celery can be too crazy. But then you get the ones that are like a hamburger.
Yeah, like those ones are crazy to me. I feel like I'm buying a cocktail, not like this is a cocktail bar, not a salad bar. You know, like I don't like make a good drink and maybe you won't need to put like 5 pounds worth of garnish on it. But
hey, if you
some
like
people
that.
like it, so
yeah.
It's fun. Whatever.
You do you, boo. We're gonna drink it.
Here we are. Yeah.
Fine.
No cheers today, my friends.
Oh man.
Oh, that's so good. That is spicy, fresh, bright, and lively. Nice and acidic from the lemon and the tomato. Oh, it's just summer in a glass.
Oh, it's got all my taste buds flaring. And
you don't have to just use vodka. Vodka's the classic thing, but people in for more adventure. We've got good friends that love doing it with tequila. I've got a friend that loves making his Caesars with bourbon. You can do all sorts of stuff. I bet even gin would be good in this. Because really, it's just a great combination of flavors. And with that, say happy Caesar Day to the internets and Canada and everyone else who might like to try a Caesar.
Cheers.